us. And while this year may look very different, setting boundaries for ourselves is more important than ever. So there are things that we can do to still make this a festive time of the year and have fun and make it full of connections and love. So to give us some advice on how to do this, I have with us today Rose Viviano. She is a senior clinician with Family Houston. Hi, Rose.
Hello.
She's been with Family Houston, guys, for over 25 years. So, Rose, thanks again for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
So, as I just mentioned, and we already know, the holidays are already here somehow. While this year has kind of felt like eternity, it's also felt like it's flown by, as I'm sure we can all relate to. Now, I know that there's probably going to be a lot of conflict this year between family members and close friends about their differing views on how to stay safe during the holidays and different safety measures that they're comfortable with. What are some healthy and productive ways that you can tell someone that you're close to you aren't comfortable seeing them this year, or something similar to that?
Telling people that they rather err on the side of caution and be able to just offset this 1 year in order to have many more years in which they can safely connect with them is one way of telling someone that they don't want to meet with them this year because of the safety issue. We know that coronavirus is on the upsurge. People are dying. We've got over 250,000 people who have died. Those families are certainly still feeling the intensity of those losses. We don't need to make it any worse than it already is. And so telling your people with love, with respect, without anger, and just stating it with as much empathy for, how disappointing it is going to take care of ourselves and put safety first.
Okay, I think that's a good way of looking at it. Of if you feel differently and this is how you want to take precautions for yourself, letting someone know respectfully and kindly, and that letting them know that you are going to miss them, that you're not trying not to see them because you don't want to. It's that you're trying to keep yourself safe and them safe. So I think that's a really good reminder and way to do it. Yeah. Also, with another tough thing that this year has been going through, we have COVID, and we've also just had an election take place that was very heated, and I think a lot of emotions have been running high. What are some ways that you can deal with family disagreements, differing views during this holiday season, and honestly, during any season?
Sure. I think in terms of how do I want to be remembered? At the end of the day, do I want to be remembered for my kindness, or for the fact that I was aggressive in my opinion and was somewhat obstinate? And I think in terms of that way, with regard to families, holidays, you spend a few hours with people. Do you really want to make that a forum for airing out disagreements, or do you want to focus on what unites you, which is your love, which is your care and concern for each other? That to me is what's most important. My opinions are going to change from one day to the other.
Right.
But the love I have for my family, that's going to be in my heart always.
Yeah, I think that's a good reminder to focus on what's uniting you and to decide, how you're going to say it, what really needs to be said and what doesn't necessarily need to be said this year or any year.
Yeah, for that matter, yeah.
And I know because, a lot of people are staying home, there's a lot of events that we can't go to, or, there's just a lot of tough things happening. And holiday blues already happen in a general year. This year it's just going to be exasperated. What are some ways individuals can cope and manage with this?
First things first is really take care of yourself. Look at your nutrition. Try to lay off as much of sugar as you possibly can. I know it's the holidays, but try to watch the sugar, watch the alcohol intake, watch the caffeine, get plenty of rest, exercise, and do reach out to your networks of support. I mean, we still have a lot of different ways we can communicate. We can have Zoom. We can have, phone, text messages, emails. We still can reach out to each other and let each other know we care and we're there. And it is important that we do that.
I think it's so important that we do that. And, also if you are feeling that way, like, pick up the phone and tell someone, send a text message to your friend or your sister and just say, I'm having a tough day today. It's okay.
Yeah.
Let them know, let them be there for you.
One of the things that's important is that we are admitting to our vulnerability and being able to reach out to others, because that's our opportunity for greater intimacy.
I like that. And it's going to be a tough year, and just, everyone that it is okay. And, you're not alone in that. And one of the great resources, that Family Houston offers is counseling. And if you are, struggling and you just want to talk to someone or work through something, we're a resource. There are lots of other resources in your community where you might be, but to reach out to one of those, and you can definitely reach out to us, and you can talk to someone like Rose. And I will drop our contact information in the comments afterwards, so that if you are looking to talk to someone or reach out, you have that opportunity. You kind of started to touch on this a little bit, Rose. So while we may not be able to connect in a traditional way, when we were talking and preparing for this, you had kind of mentioned some fun things you had seen or read about online. Can you share maybe some creative, fun ways that we can all still connect with each other?
I was listening to NPR News. Actually, it was not the news. It was their cooking program. And they had talked about creative ways of connecting with family over food for the holidays. And one particular family wrote in and said that they wanted not just to remember Thanksgiving for the things that they were grateful for, but to also acknowledge during this time of coronavirus some of the losses. And they were going to have a virtual dinner, but in their family, each member of the family brought a different plate. And what each member was going to do is still only make that plate for dinner. And they were all going to sit around and eat that plate for dinner. And I thought, oh, I just don't want to eat all green beans for dinner on Thanksgiving.
No. I hope I'm the one making mac and cheese.
Yeah. So, I thought, well, that is really creative. It's not something I would do, but there are other creative ways we can connect. We can play games online with one another. There are so many different games online that we can do. Playing bingo through Zoom.
We did that as a staff thing one time.
That's right. And we had a ball doing it. We can do a scavenger hunt and have fun with that online. And so there are lots of different things that we can do, even though we're apart or we're doing this virtually. We can still enjoy the day and make it special.
Absolutely. And I think too, while there's a lot of, tough things with, family gatherings, and, there's also a lot of great things, but we can also be grateful for, what we do have this year. And maybe that is staying in your pajamas all day, or not having the pressure of cooking for 20 people. It's just you and your family. Or maybe it's just you and you want to spend all day watching the Great British Cooking Show in bed, and that's totally fine. I would just encourage everyone to really focus on maybe what is, what can be a good thing this year. And,
absolutely,
we'll get through it. We'll get through it, and we'll have huge Thanksgivings hopefully next year.
We forget how resilient we are as human beings, and we are, and we will get through this, and we'll be better off for having had it happen to us, because I know myself, I am far more aware of my relationships and far more willing to let them know how much I care and think about them often.
Mm-hmm. That's so great. We should all take a note out of that playbook of yours, Rose, and let someone know that we care about them. I think it makes such a difference, and you don't even realize what that little text message or note or 5-minute phone call can do to change someone's day.
That's for sure.
So Rose, thank you for sharing all that information, with us. And again, if you are struggling and you just need to talk to someone, just know that Family Houston's here. There are lots of other resources here for you, and please reach out. And with that, I also hope that everyone has a fantastic Thanksgiving next week. And whether that be in your pajamas by yourself or with your intimate family, just know that we're all gonna get through this together. And like you said, we're resilient. So thanks, Rose.